The Critter and Guitari Septavox. At first, this might not look like a synthesizer, but it very much is. Critter and Guitari is a very interesting company. Just like Teenage Engineering, they like to partner with different companies. This time, they partnered with Third Man Records, Jack White's record label, and they made the Septavox. And this is the yellow one. There's a black version too. And the Septavox is a very simple type of instrument. It doesn't have any keys on it, as you can see. It has these little wooden buttons, and they take a little bit of time to get used to. It has this like real tactile, childish quality to it, which honestly is very much their go-to. Now I'll put up the matrix of what each one of these does, but basically you have 7 voices, and they are indicated here by using the color, and then you have 7 different effects for each voice. And it seems pretty simple because it is. Now I have a friend who made a video about the Septavox. It's not a review, it's more of just him making music with it. In fact, he's scoring a short video with it. I'm going to put the link below so you can check that out. It's a really, really cool video, and he's very good at describing the feeling and the emotion of the Septavox, and his playing is beautiful. He's just a really great person to follow. Anyways, check it out. There's the dirty sign, the electric organ, the square, the sawtooth, the dirty square, and the computer. And there are 7 different modes. There's vibrato, slide, octave, up arp, swell, octave cascade, which is really cool, slicer, and pipe glide. And these are known as knob 1 and knob 2. Depending on which mode you're on, they have different functions. This one is your pitch one, and this one is your volume on all of them. And if you're wondering what this funny little design is, it's actually a speaker. So I have this plugged in right now. I have it on sine. Very weird. I have it on sine, and what is the yellow one? Slide. So it's got a weird... As you can see, it's very playful, very childlike. Now, if I were to take this out, you can still hear it because I have batteries in. Another weird thing about it, it doesn't have a backing for the batteries, but the batteries don't really pop out ever. So now if I were to take this out, I'm using the speaker there. So the speaker is fine. It's really fun for when you're just out and about and playing around. The problem that you get with this speaker is the lower that you go, you lose sound. Yeah, it only picks up right about there. Now, it can go up 1 octave and it can go down 1 octave. In order to do that, you have to actually turn it off. Now, if I want to go up, I push that button and turn it back on. And it'll be on that octave until I decide to turn it back down again. So if I want to bring it back down, turn that button, kind of back to where we were. Now if I want to go down 1 octave, turn it back on, holding that. Now just a little preview of each one of the 7 sounds. I'm just going to turn down all the effects and just keep the original sounds on here. So this is the dirty sign, the regular sign, electric organ, the square wave, the sawtooth, the dirty square, and lastly the computer, which sounds more like just a high organ. Now the fun parts are the modes. Now I'm just going to keep this in the sine wave so it's easy to hear. This is the vibrato. This is the slide. And you can change the amount of the effect on each one. This is the 2 octave arp. And this changes the tempo. This one's called swell, which changes the attack of each one. You got a nice decay there. And this is the octave cascade. Ugh, I love this one. You get some really nice bass tones out of this one. And the slicer, which kind of slices it up in weird ways. So you just play with that and see where it goes. And the pipe glide, which sounds more like a slide whistle. Like. one of the best things about this is that it's made very solid. It's all metal, except for the wooden buttons and the plastic knobs. I have 3 kids, 2 twins that are going to be 4 next week. Oof. And I have a 6-year-old, and I let them play with this all the time. They practically can't break it. In fact, I have a pretty funny video on my Instagram of my daughter hitting it with a large wooden mallet, and it did nothing to it. Now, the uses for this are basically if you need something that just has a different sound than any other synthesizer that's out there, you can find it here. It's got kind of a childish quality, like I said before, and it's got just kind of a playful just life to it. One of the main drawbacks, though, it is fairly limited. You have the 7 tones and the 7 modes, and that's pretty much all you're going to get out of it, except for going up an octave or down an octave. It does have MIDI out, and it does have MIDI in. It can only be on channel 1, and it can only send out to channel 1. And one of the problems I have is that I can't get the effects like the ARP and the slide and stuff like that to transmit to another instrument. So it doesn't really translate that kind of stuff more than it can just translate the notes. I don't know if there is a way to do it, but I have not been able to find a way to do it at all. One of the big problems I have is the tempo of the ARP is really hard to sync with another instrument. It does clock into the Septavox, so you can control the ARP tempo that way. Again, that's kind of hard to figure out. They made this very simple, and I think the biggest approach is just the ability to put it in a backpack and take it wherever you are, and then you have just an instant keyboard to play. And this is kind of a nitpicky drawback, because obviously you're never going to record with this speaker. You're going to have to be a really, really quiet or not move it very often, because these little buttons here, they're not solid. They shake around in there. So guys, that's the Septavox. If you have one of these, let me know what you think about it, what you love about it, what you don't like about it, what you use it for. Do you ever take it anywhere? Please like, comment, subscribe, do all that YouTube stuff. I really appreciate you watching another one of these, and I'll see you at the next video.